right, guys. Hey, we're back. Part one was very long, so we decided to split this up into two.
Yeah, that's definitely the reasoning. Anyway, Secret Hot Spring of Say, Green Edition. It's got to enter. Put a friendship counter on your J roll. You may search your deck for a 4 sacred beast reveal and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. If there are 3 or more friendship counters on your J roll, you may put a 4 sacred beast from your hand into the field.
Wow.
So it's really good.
Yeah, this card's really good. It's one of the things that you just want to curve this into the claw to get the 2 friendship counters on your J roller, and then you just have this live on turn 2, where you just toss in a 4 sacred beast for free every turn. It just seems really strong.
And so I'm thinking of other editions that used to just be like their own engines, but they never really worked out. This card kind of fuels itself because it searches for the thing and it activates itself.
Yeah, it's like basically it's a 1-cost edition with a targeted draw that has an upside that keeps giving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like double. It's hard to describe this as Wind Secluded Refuge, but when looking at the cost benefits analysis, looking at this compared to that, I think this thing is really good.
Yep. Scott, anything
Also,
to add?
they do different things, but whatever.
No, you guys pretty much cover everything.
Yeah.
No, it's just a good addition.
All right.
Possibly good enough to see play out of Persia, but I think Persia is definitely, the home you're probably going to see this thing in.
Yeah, of course.
So, my rating, I give it an 8. I think it's good support. I think 4 Sacred Beasts are a decent race, and I think that because of that, I'll rate this card as one of the best cards to abuse them.
I give it an 8. It's great. 8 out of 8.
8 out of 8, great.
That 8.
Definitely not a bait.
Yep.
It's a fat 8.
Yep.
Card's even good in draft somehow. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really good in draft.
Makes sense. There's a lot of friendship counter generators.
Oh,
Kinda
yeah.
whack. Anyway. The bad Sasay. Sasay the
There we
Ancient
go.
Forest. Alright, 2-cost, Edition Forest, Beast and 4 Sacred Beast you control gain +2/+2. Whenever a resonator you control is put into a graveyard from the field, you may pay green 1. If you do, draw a card.
Green 1 to draw a card. That's not good.
And so we can get +2/+2 on a 4 Sacred Beast by paying 1 with Huang Long. Not Huang Long, Quinn Long.
Too long, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Why am I paying 2 for an edition?
Yep.
And then 3 to draw a card.
The fact that this thing costs 3 is just a spit in the face to everyone. It's a reprint. It was one of the worst cards from that set. It's still one of the worst cards. Just can we just rate this thing? I don't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah. Fat
Right,
0.
this one's getting my hot 0. Yeah.
Goodbye.
I want this. I hope that in the next set we get a card that pulls us into the field like Legendness's new printing does, and then makes the activate ability 0.
Yeah, that would be kind of sick. Maybe this thing would see play if that happens.
Maybe.
It's actually a maybe.
Anyway, next up. Sprout of Treasure Tree. Hooray!
They just hard reprinted Sprout.
At least it's hard to have in your hand. Anyway, discard a card, banish this card, produce 3 rolls of any attribute. You don't care about the stats, as long as it doesn't die.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep. What do you mean if it doesn't die? You just chase it in response. Easy.
Yeah.
And they can't stop its effect.
Yeah. This card was used in first turn kills very often when it was in Valhalla. They literally just reprinted it with its effect from Valhalla. But the fact that you can't get it consistently turn 1 or even consistently from the stranger deck, it's just kind of a random chance that you can get it. Means it's hard to build a deck around it, but it can just get you those little ramp ups that if you need it later in the game.
Yeah,
it gets you from mid game to late game with a potential big kill spell or creatures and
that's it.
flooding the board.
I think its most important role is that if you pull this from your stranger deck early, you kind of just blast your opponent with a bunch of tempo.
Oh yeah.
That's the whole entire reason. It's a lot better than most strangers at providing tempo by just letting you dump your hand. Which is exactly what you want your extra deck mechanic to do to beat everything.
Yep. So I think I'm comfortable in my rating here.
I put a 9.
Just getting Yeah, I was about to say this is a fat 9. This thing's just like, if literally the only drawback is the fact that it's random chance that you might not get this early. That's the only drawback on this card.
I mean, it does pull out a lot of resources. That was kind of the problem with the Sprout when it was first printed.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like sometimes it just field the grave for you if you need a grave based deck too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Scott, you agreeing with the 9s? You got your own
Yeah.
rating? What you got?
Green with the 9s.
All right.
Solid.
Cool. Onward. World Tree Spider.
Beast.
This thing's horrifying.
Yeah.
Burn it.
3-drop 8/8 Beast. If there are 3 or more friendship counters on your G-roll, this card in your hand gains quick cast, and you may pay 1 less to play this card. It has enter, destroy target resonator with flying. This card can block J resonators with flying.
So this is our first time seeing Force of Will directly take flavor from Magic the Gathering, because spiders so often had like reach, which is, you can block flyers.
Right.
It's kind of interesting to see them go in this direction. But either way, 8/8 quick casts that destroy things tangentially, if there's a flyer, are really good.
It's also, you just have to immediately assume if you have 3 friendship counters that claws on board, so it's 11/11
Yep.
for 2 with quick cast.
Mm-hmm.
Enter, destroy target thing. Hello?
Yeah, this thing's kind of insane. I know we talked about how weird it is that Ratatoskir gives quick cast to win resonators in hand when you have like Pursue's Call to Action. And that's sort of a similar thing where it's kind of a mild anti-synergy, but like at the same time, this thing's just really efficient and really, really strong.
There's sometimes that this card goes into a different deck.
Yeah, agreed. Like even as a 3-drop 8/8 that just destroys something, still fine. Like
I don't see
it's
this
not-
in the aggro deck.
yeah, this is
No.
definitely more of like a mid-range card, I'd say.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sideboard.
Oh,
Definitely a
sideboard for
sideboard
aggro.
card for sure.
Yeah.
It's sideboard for aggro, but if you're playing like mid-range beasts, which is kind of a weird deck,
Right. It's
This is-
still pretty good.
this is probably your like mainstay resonator for the mid-range beast deck.
Yeah, you basically just turn these into puppets. I'd
Yep.
say if you want to do the Sherry comparison.
You gotta play Sherry. This is your patrolling guard doll.
Yep. When you put it that way, this card seems really good.
Yep.
So, I think knowing the decks that it will fit into and how kind of like niche and sideboard it is, I think an 8 suffices for this thing. It's just very efficient,
I'm
but
already
I don't
holding
think it's
my
like a
8.
full mainstay. You holding your 8?
Yep.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go with the 7.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah.
It's got playing beasts. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm playing Pursuit Beast more so like the aggro version, which I'm actually really liking right now. So
Well, can't talk about that right now. So anyway,
Nope.
all right. So here's Brutal Majin, 4-drop 10/10 Demon Bane. If your opponent controls a J Resonator with attack 0 or less, you may pay 3 less to play this card. Enter, destroy target Resonator with attack 0 or less.
excuse me? What the
What?
fuck?
Can't fight those negative attack values, I guess.
Again, I don't know if attack values can't go negative based on the CR, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, this card's kind of like that. Pretty much designed to work with Valentina. The fact that her Regalia, when it comes in, triggers her ability to give something attack, make something's attack 0 for the turn. You have the -800 attack spell at quick cast speed, so you can just use that before untap everything, play the Brutal Majin for 1, kill something. There's a lot of synergy that goes into that, and it can be a really good tempo resonator, but I think the fact that it really relies so heavily on the Val support is kind of going to be a hindrance to it going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, it not having quick cast makes it really hard to activate at times.
Yep, agree with that.
Yeah.
But
Like it
if
has to be like
if it had
you
quick
have to
cast,
play
that would
like
be
at the
nuts.
start of your turn, yeah. So, yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. This is a very strange card for them to print in like the 3 mono black cards that we got for the set.
Yeah,
Mm.
but it is a 1 to 4 drop that kills 2 things at minimum.
Yeah, that's pretty solid actually. It's like it's a good value card, but I don't think it has the speed, and I think that the consistency is lacking on it.
Exactly.
And I think it's going to hold it back. So
Yeah.
I'll say
Okay.
6.
I'm gonna go with 5.
All right, that's fair enough.
I'm gonna give it the 6 just for the potential, but
Yeah.
it's
The
definitely
potential 2-for-1 is really good, but
yeah.
Force Will is not as much of a game of 2-for-1s as Magic is. If you
Right.
want to consider that comparison in a sense.
Yep. Anyway, next up we got our next question mark reprint, Dance of the Shadows.
It's a
Four-
mage art.
Yep. 4-drop champ mage art. Quick cast, Remnant. Put target resonator from your graveyard into the field at the next end of turn. Remove it from the game. You can still cheat with it. It's great.
Yep. I'm missile cheaty face Captain Hook decks after end of turn triggers is the worst phrase I've ever heard uttered in Force of Will.
Yeah, so just to
God.
clarify that, because it says at the next end of turn, if you wait until after the end of turn triggers and cast this card, it will wait until the next set of end of turn triggers to activate the remove from game effect. And you'll still be able to swing with it on the upcoming turn because it won't have summoning sickness because you cast it on your opponent's turn.
Yep. So this thing becoming a mage art is really relevant, actually.
Really good, yeah.
Just being able to flash in Valentina's Vergalia during your opponent's turn to play the control game, or during the start of your turn to Judgment for 0, and then having this up to just tap it, make it 2-will for Dance of the Shadows, basically turns Dance of the Shadows into a 2-cost, 2-time revive effect, which is crazy.
Well, it's always been a good card, so now it's just
Yep.
a better
Even
card.
better. Yeah.
It's a big deal because, like, Valentina was kind of fighting for win conditions. Like, we're going to see one card that was designed as a win condition coming up later, but this lets you not only interact with cards that were printed in this set with Valentina, but also cards that were printed from, like, say, New Valhalla that can just kind of synergize slightly with it, which I think is really crazy. Utgarda Loki is going to be nuts, this thing.
Yeah, so I don't know how
Pretty
much we have
much.
to go into how good this card is.
No, it's just good.
I think I'm fine with my rating for now, if you guys are.
Yep, I'm putting a 10 on this.
I'm going to hesitantly give it an 8, actually. I think that it's insanely good with Valentina, but I don't know the viability of a Valentina Reanimator deck at this point. So that's where I'm at.
I don't think it needs to be viable. It was just an insane card in general.
Yeah. I'm going to go in the middle and say 9. Right in between.
Okay. It's a good card. That's all we need
Good.
to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, Laboratory of Forbidden Arts. It's a black 1-drop edition. Tap, destroy target resonator with attack 0 or less. Put a Forbidden Arts counter on this card. Or you can tap it to remove a Forbidden Arts counter and draw a card.
So this card, I think, is definitely going to see more play than Brutal Machin. Or what's the name of it? Not Brutal, right? Brutal Machin, yeah.
Brutal Majin, yeah.
So, my thoughts on this card is the destroy target resonator is good. It's got the quick cast. You can set this up beforehand. It does leave a really big weakness on Valentina that if you want to start teching into addition removal, like I think the Val deck can fall apart very easily because of it.
Yep, agreed.
So, as much as I love reusable 1-cost quick cast destruction effects that can also draw cards, it is a weakness, and we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I definitely think that, like, if it just had another thing other than tap, remove a Forbidden Arts counter, draw a card, I think we would see a little more, I don't know, non-anti synergies, if you will. Because, like, having to tap this to destroy something, then wait for it to untap, tap it again if you want to get more Forbidden Arts counters, and then slowly just getting the draws off of it by tapping. It's a slow card, which is the only problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very high value card. It synergizes well with Valentina, both what she wants to do as drawing into the deck and killing things with 0 attack, but it's just like it's painfully slow, and I don't think you can play that game of inches in Force of Will right now.
I think you can. It's just whether or not, if that deck becomes viable, how effective it will be after that point.
Yep, I agree with that.
Anything else to add, Scott?
No, not really. I mean, it all really depends on how quickly and easily you can make 0 attack creatures or less, and how often you can activate the effects to kill them. And
also a good point.
Yep.
All right.
One fun story is that this actually play this against Guinevere played on turn 1. You know, the mobility queen. You
Yep.
just happen to destroy it before the counters go on.
Yeah, and that does give it some viability.
Yep. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Again, I mentioned that I thought it was better than Brutal Majin, which I gave a 6. I don't think it's by a huge margin, but I think it's enough to where I can give it the 1 up on the rating.
I still respect the stats on Brutal Majin, so I'm giving this card a 6.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go with the 6 as well.
All right, very nice.
10/10 Bane is pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard.
Next up is Aura of the Sacred Sword. Blue-white, chance sword art, quick cast. You and entities you control gain barrier until end of turn. Draw a card. If you control Excalibur and a J-Ruler named Faria, you may play this card without paying its cost.
This card actually seems really good in my opinion. I don't know the viability. If there's anything that's gonna like kind of help her jump up into the spotlight, this is probably one of the things that'll get her up there.
I don't even know if you play this in Faria. I like sure playing it for free is good, but like I just think that like
the card itself doesn't do enough to help the deck because I have a Faria deck built and I just can't see.
In my opinion, this card reminds me a lot of like how Dawn of the Earth was, or like
Yeah, I can see that.
where the format is right for it. The card does insanely well, but it's basically the only reason why you want to run blue-white in the first place.
Yep. I think this card specifically sees the best play if Isis is good. Because Isis has a lot of targeted removal, and being able to just kind of blanket yourself against that is a really big deal.
Yeah, and it also they have face damage in that deck.
Yep.
So
the fact that the sword art's really nice too, because if you're playing like,
it's still technically a free card because
Yeah.
of the Regalia.
Yep.
It replaces itself.
Yep, it's just an all around decent card. I think that if there's if there's a time where like you want to be playing like a Faria 1-man army kind of deck where it's like you want Judgment Faria, use her God's Art, kind of like survive and make things happen with her, this card definitely sees some play just to defend her and keep you and like kind of hold a board. I think if you want to play like a hold the board kind of deck, this is 100% your card. But I don't know the viability of that right now, at least.
I mean, blue-white's always been the hold the board colors. That's why it's struggled historically in Force of Will. But anyway, props to Nekobayashi, always a good artist.
Oh, definitely. Love Nekobayashi stuff.
Yep. This is a
so
hard one to rate, honestly. I'll go first. I'm feeling a 7 because it's blue-white. I feel like it could be higher if it was any other color.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay, respectable.
Definitely good card, but there's other stuff that I think that's more viable and important.
Yep, I think Mike's dead again.
Nope, I'm back now. Okay.
There it is.
And you're ready?
This thing is 6. I was trying to give it a 6 before, and then my computer and then Discord froze. So, I don't know what your guys' ratings are. Spawn is totally blind, but the 6 is just for me coming on the fact that I think this is a really good sideboard card depending on your matchups. I think it's good if Faria is good, but I think outside of those two situations, it's not going to see much play.
I gave it a 7 because I was like, this is basically the main reason you'd run blue-white in general.
Yeah.
And I gave it a 6.
Yep.
Next up,
hey.
Awakening of Ambition. It's blue-black, chant mage art. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a card. They put that card on the bottom of their deck. If this card is awakened, choose a card from your stranger deck at random, put it into your hand. The awakening is discard 2 cards.
Yep. So it's
confiscation, basically.
It's confiscation, essentially. It's a -1 because if you try to get the stranger, because it costs a card from hand, you discard 2, gain 1, your opponent loses 1.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but it's also a mage art, so you can't technically play it for free if you have Valentina's Regalia out. And also, discarding 2 cards sets up for your Reanimator package.
Yeah. The card does a lot. Also, just adding strangers to your hand, especially without like premium costs tied to adding strangers, is really good.
Yeah.
A lot of the blue-black strangers are pluses, so it makes up for it very quickly with tempo and value.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna go with the missing test, and this is a beautiful art card.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that in, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Surprisingly, this is a Valentino artwork that is not done by Ishisho. So.
Yeah, explains the eyes.
Yeah, but Yuki Tajima is always a fantastic artist, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about the aesthetics, you guys want to start rating this thing?
I did want to mention one thing that's similar about this card to Unending Hatred, the red black. Yeah, that card didn't see a lot of play because it was just very expensive for a discard spell.
Yeah, but if you tack on finding high value resonators from your Stranger deck, I think that might be enough to kind of bring this to the forefront.
Yeah, it's just something to consider.
Yep. I went with 8 for those reasons. I think the card's slow, and I don't know how well it'll do in the current format, but I think that it's interesting enough to where it's going to be used in any control lists, especially ones using Valentina.
I gave it a 7. I respect a 2-cost discard that doesn't actually put the card in grave, and adding a Stranger without having to pay premiums is good.
Yep, agreed.
I'm going with a 7 as well. Same reasons.
All right, very nice.
Cool.
Burning Rush.
This card scared me when they first printed it.
Yep.
Oh yeah. It's a fantastic card.
It's red green. We'll talk about that. Chance Sword Art, quick cast. Choose one. This card deals 1,000 damage to target J Resonator, or target J Resonator you control gains +10/+10 until end of turn. If you have 3 or more friendship counters, you can pay green or red less. If there are 7 or more friendship counters on your J Roller, you can play it for free.
Oh yeah.
This card's really strong. Like
really strong.
Really strong.
Reminds you, like, it's Flame of the Outer World plus, like, better rapid growth at the same time. Yeah. I'm like, and it's a sword art, and it has discounts built into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So not only are you just getting the discounts off of playing it off of your Regalia, but since your Regalia puts friendship counters on your ruler, you're also factoring in that discount. So just...
It's always going to be a 1-cost spell. Always.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 3 or more friendship counters is super easy to get to. 7 or more, you probably won't see that much, but it's also the sword art makes it just even better, even easier to play.
And this card is insanely difficult to play around. If you're trying to play around getting damage, like, you're going to think, all right, I have to put a blocker in the way. Okay, but if they deal 10 to it, that blocker's going through. If I don't block it, then I'm taking 10 extra damage because they can just use it as a buff. So that type of multimodalism is just kind of toxic, in my opinion.
Yeah, this card is just like every good card plus a little extra stats bundled into one card.
Yeah.
If only it summoned things, then it would be perfect.
Then it would be full Persia.
Yes.
I don't think I need to think much about the rating on this one.
Nope, that's a 10 for me.
Yeah, that's a 10.
That's a 10.
I'm going to give this a 9. There is a little bit of weakness where you can't play too many of this card.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I think that just for the amount of things that it'll do and the difficulty that people have to play around it, I think that it's going to be another big thing is that I don't think it fits into. Well, obviously, it doesn't fit into machines because it's out of color, but and I think machines are going to be the strongest deck. But I think this gives red-green aggressive or even mid-range decks enough room to kind of muscle in on the territory of machines.
I think that's a very apt description of what this card does.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Cronus.
All right, Skeleman, the Master of Labyrinth, Stranger.
Skelly boy.
3 drop 10/10. Enter, and at the beginning of your turn, choose one that was not chosen in this game. Your opponent cannot play Resonators until the end of turn, or your opponent cannot play Chance until the end of turn, or your opponent cannot play Additions until the end of turn, or your opponent cannot play Regalia until the end of the turn.
It's literally just Shockmaster if anybody's played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, that is exactly what it does. But at least Shockmaster could choose the same thing multiple times.
Yep. Cronus is okay. I won't say he's a great card. I think that if he, well, first of all, if he had quick cast, to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as it stands right now, the fact that you can chase things to him after he declares, that he's going to be calling something, the fact that you know what he can call after the first call's been made, there's just a lot of ways to play around him. Like, I think Resonators is either Resonators or Regalia are the two best ones to call, just because they're the most, well, Resonators is the most used card type in my opinion, and if I recall, and Regalia, most of them don't have quick cast, so it's hard to react to him, especially because he's meant to be played in the Valentina deck, and if you're playing the mirror match, he's already kind of dead. But
I didn't think that there was as many issues with this card until you said what you said. The opponent cannot play Resonators, so that doesn't affect things that you could just like shove into play using other cards.
Exactly, yeah.
That's an issue on its own. I think the chance one is the most powerful, even if you can't chase to him.
Fair.
But it's like you do have to answer him like immediately, otherwise you are locked out of chance for like a turn and a half.
Yeah. Only thing is that like you're paying 3 mana for this guy. He's got above premium stats, and like you want to answer him, but at the same time, it's just like he doesn't really impact the board as a 3-drop, and I don't think you can afford to play a multi-turn stun card in a format as fast as our current one.
I do see him as one of the best like stunning Resonators we've ever seen, besides like Hook.
Yeah, obviously.
But Hook's like also an aggressive Resonator, whatever.
Yeah. One thing about Cronus is he's definitely not an aggressive resonator, which makes sense given his color identity and the way that Val wants to play. But I think that's his major downfall, because I think if he was more aggressive, the stun factor would be more important.
Yeah. Scott,
Yes.
throw your thoughts in.
I mean, yeah, everything makes sense. You guys are just too good at your jobs.
Now, because I actually played with him a little bit in testing originally, and I just felt the weakness. I felt the drudging slowness that comes with a 3-drop.
All right,
We go.
Do you think this card would be better if it was just enter, do all of them for a turn?
Yeah. So, my rating on him.
Just 1 turn silence.
Yeah, I asked the question of Mike. Do you think this card would be better if this was a 1-turn Law of Silence?
Yeah, this card would be insane if it was a 1-turn Law of Silence.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But as it currently stands, I'm going to give this thing a 6.
Considering it's a stranger, I'm actually giving this card a 4.
Damn, really?
Because it is a stranger, you need those cards to be like top tier in order to make the whole mechanic work. So
yeah, I can see that.
Having one bad egg just kind of ruins the omelet.
Exactly.
So to speak. But at least, unfortunately, Mr. Skellyman is going to need way more calcium to compete with other decks.
Yeah, he also has like skin on his arms now, which is weird.
Ugh. Those are veins. What the fuck?
Ew. Gross.
4. Just because of the veins.
Fuck, 4 because of the vein. Beautiful.
Skelly man veins.
Next up, Communication Robot. Blue-green, 6/6, machine, flying. Banish 2 machines and tap it. Choose a card from your stranger deck at random and put it into your hand.
It's not great. Although 6/6 with flying as a machine is kind of relevant when you can just play that quick cast spell that gives things flying, and then sorry, not flying, swiftness, and then you just hit people in the air for 8.
We haven't
like that's
talked
the
about
biggest
that card yet.
We'll talk about it in a second. Whatever. But this thing having flying, I guess, is extremely mildly relevant, but not that relevant.
I think this card's whack. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. It's anti-tempo, and machines want tempo.
Yeah.
2 machines being sacked is not worth getting a stranger.
But what about our turn 1 twin bots into turn 2, sack the twin bots, get a stranger?
Oh, yes.
Have a rest of the board.
Loss.
Wow.
Lose the game.
Tempo loss.
True combo.
The fact that it also has to tap itself to do that.
So you're essentially putting 3 machines into it to get 1 stranger to hand that doesn't affect the board immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the stat
It's
line is the only thing this card has going for it, and it's not even that impressive.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just counterintuitive to what machines want to do.
Yep. With that in mind, 2.
2.
2.
Glad we're on the same page here. Next
Yeah.
up, Elemental of the Demon Sword. Red, black, 12/1. Elemental. Swiftness, precision. At the end of your turn, banish this card. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, choose a card from your stranger deck at random and put it into your hand. Rest a recovered card named Levitine you control. Put this card from your graveyard into the field. If it would leave the field, remove it from the game instead.
This card is actually really interesting in my opinion. And the fact that it just kind of recurs itself if you're playing Levitine, which obviously naturally are in Melgus, and the fact that it can essentially turn itself into 2 strangers with as of removal spell, in a sense, because it's precision swiftness for a 12 attack thing. It's interesting, but I don't see the major viability of it. I think 3 costs that don't, it impacts the board, but it doesn't leave a lasting impression on the board, and I think that's the big problem with it, especially at its cost.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Scott.
There's just like a lot of ways to deal with it fairly easily, especially at 100 defense.
Any of the Percivals can just ping it.
Exit, with red.
Fire Percival, can ping it.
Yeah.
This card's put into the grave from the field, just a card from your stranger, put it into your hand. It's a nice effect, but like if it's the mana cost that you're sinking into it for.
Honestly, I wish this card was a stranger.
Yeah, that'd been pretty sick. Because it probably would have cost less too.
No, even as a 3 cost, I will pay, tap.
Oh yeah, Regalia, yeah.
Tap the Levitine, pay for the red black, and then just pay red to put this into play.
It.
They missed a chance to give this Resonator Elemental / Sword Art. That would have been sick.
That would also been very sick. Yeah. That would have actually been kind of scary though because of Shakti, even though that doesn't resolve correctly. But
right.
No.
If it did resolve correctly, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah. I also think one of the biggest problems with this card is that Melgus just naturally wants to flip himself and be aggressive, because being aggressive with him means you also just flip and get a stranger from your stranger deck into the field.
Yeah.
Why even use the middleman here when you could just make Melgus do it?
That's true.
So, with all that in mind, I think the card is efficient, but not for its cost and what deck it wants to be used in. So give it a 4.
Yep, I say it has too many weaknesses to be playable. 4.
Yeah, all that makes sense. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Damn, Scott being harsh.
Alright, I'm gonna let Mike read this one because he was very hyped about it.
I was very hyped about this card. Forbidden Summoning, 2 blue and black for Chant Mage Art. Search your deck for up to 3 Gorgons that don't share a name, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Remove this card from the game, and put a Forbidden Arts counter on it. Then, if you control J-Ruler named Valentina, J-Ruler, not J/Ruler, put up to 3 Gorgons that don't share a name from your hand into the field. As long as this card is in your removed area with 1 or more Forbidden counters on it, Gorgons you control gain plus 200/+200. This card is a lot in one card, and it was kind of one of the things that I was a little scared of it at first, just because I'm like, oh, okay, you could just draw Gorgons and put them into play. Great. And it buffs them. And then you read the fine print, and you realize that you need to control J-Ruler Valentina. She has to stay on the board while this card is resolving and after it resolves to get the full effect. And even so, you're just putting 3 medium bodies into play. The biggest thing you can get is Alice.
Which is so unfortunate. And Alice only comes in as a 10/10.
Yep. The card itself, obviously it does a lot for what its cost is. At worst, it's a 3 mana draw 3 specific cards. You don't really want the 3 specific cards, and it's a lot of tempo loss, but it turns the Gorgons into discard fodder if you just happen to draw too many of them. But you really do want to just resolve this with Valentina, and you can resolve this very consistently with playing her Regalia at the start of your turn 3 before untap.
Lover's Lock.
Choosing the ability to, Judgment for 0 for the turn.
Yep.
You flip into her, you play this, you another mana left over, you got another stone, but it's just like you sunk a whole turn into that, and if your opponent has like Bloody Break or something, you just lose every bit of tempo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just a weird card and just doesn't resolve correctly most of the time because you don't get the full effect.
Yep. It's like the card is very, I don't know, it was a word I'm looking for. I don't even know the word I'm looking for this card. It's just like
Milk toast.
Yeah, it's milk toast. Like obviously you know how I feel about Gorgons, but we also know how I feel about cards that make Gorgons a playable archetype and a combo enabler, but then just kind of make a lukewarm non-factor.
I do just like the idea of having a 3-mana draw my archetype and then also buff them at the same time.
Yeah.
Even if
that's nice.
Because even if it doesn't throw them into play, each one of those you cast winds up putting +2/+2 on all Gorgons you have.
Yeah. So I was actually talking in a group chat earlier today, and I said that this card and Sisei should have had their identity switched, because having a thing like Forbidden Summoning to put 3 Sacred Beasts into play at the same time matches their flavor and what they want to do. And like Sisei,
3 of the 4 Sacred Beast.
Yeah, exactly. And then having a Hot Springs of Sisei for Gorgons would just put them into play at quick cast speed, and then Medusa can block and shuffle something back into the deck. Uralit can tap something down. Steno can.
That would make a lot more sense.
It would have made a lot more sense, and I think they got swapped in the meeting room. They're like, "Hey, we should make a card that does this. Hey, we should make a card that does this for Gorgons and Sacred Beasts. Which one's which? I don't know. Shuffle them." So
yeah, Gorgons definitely.
That's my thoughts on the card.
Gorgons would have liked quick cast so much better. Damn. It's kind of sad. Anyway,
what are you gonna do?
I'm kind of don't know where to put this card, but I'm just gonna say 6 and respect the fact that maybe we could get another Gorgon.
On. This thing sucks. This is the last time we're doing a set review over Discord.
You just need to improve your system. Anyway. Scott, your rating?
I'm gonna give it a 5. Glad they got support. It's good for the +2/+2, but it's a little slow, especially and doesn't resolve right.
6.
Okay.
Gorgons.
Up next, we got a bear. But not
Big bear.
But not magic bear. This is forest
This isn't
bear.
a 4/4. How do we know it's a bear?
I don't know, man. It's got claws.
Alright, cool.
It also got vines in it, and its fur somehow.
It's a big grizzly.
Anyway, red green 6/6 beast quick cast. Enter. This card fights something, but only a target attacking or blocking J Resonator. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, card's not terrible.
And you need 3 friendship counters to activate it.
Yep. Just having this as a 6/6 with quick cast.
And he's gone.
Yep.
Yep.
This is the worst thing ever. Discord just logs me off. Anyway,
This card specifically hates you because you hate it. Anyway.
Yeah. Fair enough.
6/6 with quick cast is pretty good. But
yeah.
That's just good fundamental force of will. 6/6 that can kill something for 2.
That fight something, and then if that doesn't kill it, blocks as well.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, card's
very
decent.
Good card.
Me, because I like to play on curve when I play my red-green decks, I see this card as it's a 2-drop that can't have its effect activated on 2. So that makes it a lot worse for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think it's just kind of like, it doesn't... like, this thing having quick cast kind of doesn't matter. We kind of talked about how beasts naturally are going to gain swiftness off of Percy's Call to Action if you're playing a beast-focused deck. This card feels like a mid-range card, and I don't think that Percy exactly wants to be doing that with this package. So
I will counter that and say that this card is best when you are on the attack.
Yep.
And
I can see that.
And you will call to action it after you fight something.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's aggressive, but it could also be used defensively, and I think that the flexibility is good, but I don't know if it makes the full cut.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, I think rousing 7 on this thing.
7? I think that's really high. I'm giving it a 5. I think it being off curve, it really hurts its viability.
I can see that. I think that hitting this like in later turns, like just as like a quick 600 damage and also a body after you've already established your claws, I think that's where it's
Also,
going to shine the most.
It's more than likely always going to end up being more than 6. It's going to be minimum 9.
Yep.
When it actually does the damage.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm giving it at least a 7. I like it for what it is. Plus, with the beast decks, it's good for attacking and blocking.
I'm just worried about the if it scales correctly, but we'll see. Anyway, next up is one
Big Daddy.
Yeah, Wang Long, the red-green 5/5. That's not actually a 5/5. He's a god beast. I think god's a new typing now because we had high god.
I think we've seen god before. Oh, we saw
Odin.
No, Odin was a high god, and a myth before that. No, it was Garmheld.
Ah, right. Anyway, this card gains +2/+2 for each 4 sacred beasts you control. Enter or reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal 4 sacred beast resonator that doesn't share a name with resonators you control. Put that card into the field and shuffle the rest of your deck. As long as you control 4 or more 4 sacred beasts with different names, this card and 4 sacred beasts you control gain swiftness, flying, and barrier. Jeez, that is a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, guys, if your card has 4 effects on it and it's in Force of Will, it's a good card.
Yep. That makes sense to me.
And this card has 4 effects because being Beast Tag is basically an effect on its own.
Yep. So, what's the smallest 4 sacred beast we have? A 4/4?
Yes.
So, at worst, this card is a 2-mana 9/9 that deals 200 damage.
It is an 11/11.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 11/11. Forgot that it also gains the stats off of it.
Yeah.
All right.
And at best, it is a, I don't know, 2-will 15/15.
Yeah.
You don't get an extra effect because if you're probably not controlling another sacred beast if you're getting Queen Long or Zeus Alice.
Right. One of the big things is that the fact this thing gets Zeus Alice is kind of crazy. This is a deck that people have been kind of experimenting with for a little bit. I think I heard Rogues Guild talking about something similar, where it's like you're playing Adam Seghart, you drop a Dark Alice on turn 1, draw 2, discard an Adam Resonator, turn 2, play the Wang Long because you're gaining all colors off of Dark Alice. You just look at the top of your deck, your only Sacred Beast is Alice. You put Alice into play, and she's got all the keywords and everything, and can swing for 1,000 with Drain.
Yeah, it's a pretty nutty turn 2. So, I don't know if that's strong enough to stop machines, but Wang Long is definitely a scary creature.
Yeah, I think it also gets really scary after like machines' power cards rotate out, because this card as a standalone is it's really nutty.
Yeah, this card's gonna be like destroying the game for a bit as long as nothing power creeps it, which I think is likely, but
yeah,
that's besides the point. Also, on top of this, I think this card is really insane in Wanderer. We have a lot of different ways to just get all 4 sacred beasts at once.
Yep.
So that's gonna be fun. Where it's just like, I'm pretty sure the swiftest flying barrier thing is just a 1-shot on its own.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Because this thing
is close.
Because it would gain 4, so 4 + 2 + 2, which is 8, 13, 13 + 8 + 5 + 6 + 4. That is 35, I think.
And then you just need 1 tap on Qinglong to make that 42.
Yep. Correct.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
So
not to mention you just killed something, gained some life, drawn a card, and bounced something.
So it is extremely good on 2. It's extremely good in the late game because it is a kill factor. You have to remove it because it will grow. I don't know what else to say. What else do you want from your 2-drop?
Like, I'm just going to make my rating. I don't think I need to talk about this much more.
No.
This is super 10. This is
It's
the closest I've ever gone to giving a card an 11.
Well, what about don't cheat? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, cheating is giving it the 11.
Anyway.
There you go.
Very good
Don't
card.
cheat.
Next up is Marybelle. She gets another card.
Yep.
She's blue-green, 6/6, human machine. Enter, search your deck for a machine, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. You can pay blue, discard this card, search your deck for a card named Marybelle type 0, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And then while it's in your graveyard, you remove it from the graveyard, put a soul counter on a Marybelle type 0 you control. So that explains how we activate our Regalia, so that's good.
Yep. This card's premium stats and draws you a card specifically from your deck.
I don't know if we can call premium stats anymore, considering we had a 2-drop 7/7 in the set with
Yeah.
no drawback.
Mm.
Premium stats for a card with a relevant effect.
Yes.
This thing draws a machine, like, from your deck. Like, just...
It tutors
no
one.
restrictions. Yeah.
So
She can tutor herself, too, which is kind of insane.
Yep, and if you don't even want to pay the full cost to tutor her, you can just go straight to the meet and just discard it for Marybelle type 0 for 1 less will, which is
Or
great.
you just discard it by any other means, and then if you're playing Adam or Brunhild, you just bring her back for 0 because of Einherjar summon because she's a human for some reason.
Yeah.
Also sick.
Yeah. Like, actually nuts.
Pay 1, search type 0. Einherjar summons, bring her back for free, search for something else. Yeah.
We were already talking about some garbage Adam shenanigans. This can go into that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just discard this and Adam with with the Dark Alice. And then just revive her, grab
Calm
another
yourself.
one of her. Just
Oh my god.
search an Alice because Alice is a machine.
Okay. Calm yourself. So Marybelle as a card. What are we thinking?
This is a 9 for me.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I feel a 9. I can't give it a 10 because it doesn't it doesn't murder you, unfortunately. So
It doesn't win the game, but it's one of the best consistency cards we've ever seen for a specific race, I'd say.
Yeah, no matter which effect you go with, you're searching for something.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Marybelle's recycling robot. It is a 3-drop, 8/8. The 3 is blue-green. Enter, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Put a 2/2 water machine resonator token into the field for each machine discarded this way. If this card was awakened, draw 2 cards. Awakening, remove 2 machines in your graveyard from the game. So, idea of this card is...
What does Pot of Greed do?
Allows me to draw 4 cards from my deck.
This is just graceful charity now. We're getting to the wrong cards, guys.
Oh, no.
So this card is a lot of value mixed into one 3-drop with decent stats that I don't think we'll see play because it's a 3-drop that doesn't affect the board except for putting a couple machines into play.
Yeah, there's steep competition in machines for 3 drops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
The fact that it does make 2 tokens is really nice, though, because obviously you're discarding machines if you're playing machines with this card. Like, you're stupid not to. But... I don't know. It seems it's a super high value card, and I think that if there was less competition for 3-drops in machines, like after rotation, I think that this card has a lot of a chance.
I think this card could basically carry machines outside of, like, their busted stuff from the set.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that.
Makes sense.
Because they don't have Gwyn combo.
Yep.
So.
And they also don't have, like, Lancelot and other big 3-drops that are sort of not even making the cut at this point. People are starting to cut Lancelot from their ideas in machines just because it's not a 2-drop.
Can't bring back that with the lab.
Nope.
So I think I can give a pretty confident rating on this one, just knowing.
Before we do ratings, are we doing it in regards to how powerful the card is or how good it is in the current format? Because I think that's a big difference. I'm
going to actually split the difference on that.
Okay.
I think that the card itself on power level alone is like an 8. I think that in the current format it's a 5. I think maybe it's a 1 of in certain machine builds. I averaged it out to a 7 because I'm feeling lenient.
Okay, I think that's fair, but I was going to lean 6. So
all right, that's fine.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to lean 6 as well.
Cool, makes sense to me.
All right, very nice. All right,
here we go.
The big robot.
My rating now. Hang on.
Yeah. So let's just get into the card quick before Mike can put up his screen. Marybelle type 0, blue-green, machine, Regalia machine. That's important. Your J roller gains barrier.
That's
Great.
important.
Tap and produce 2 wills in a combination, blue-green. Spend this will only to play God's Arts abilities, Strangers, or Sword Arts. Pay 0, becomes a 10/10 resonator until end of turn if there's a soul counter on it. That's decent. Main thing, your J roller gets barrier. That's huge. Second main thing, it's a Regalia machine. That's a 2-drop. Damn.
Third thing, when you play with Machina, you get to trigger an ability that puts 2 machines into play,
Yep.
which means you now have 3 machines for your remote control beasts. So turn 2 this after turn 1 machine gets you however many remote control beasts are in your hand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Other thing, it pays for its own cards that can protect itself.
Specifically the ultimate shield.
Other thing, it can win the game outright because I'm pretty sure Machina gains stats if you control her as a resonator.
Correct.
So if you just search her out, if you just search her out with Marybelle, put her into play, remove her, get the soul counter, you just kill people with her. They just die.
Close. It's 3,000 damage because Machina becomes a 2,000 if Resonator Marybelle type 0 is in play.
It's okay. Vivian swung earlier in the game. It's fine.
And on top of that, one of the effects of Machina is to put 5 +1/+1 counters on a Marybelle type 0 you control. So that's 35 damage.
Yep. So 1 Vivian swing after getting a twin bots on board is lethal.
Provided that you somehow have a way to give Machina swiftness.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to give Machine J roller swiftness.
I wonder. So,
this card has to be a 10. There's no way.
Yeah, it's a 10.
One of the easiest 10s I've ever given. This thing is actually insane.
So glad they made Machina good, and the deep wood colors. You gotta respect it.
Oh, yeah.
Respect the top tier deep wood decks. Let's go.
Anyway.
Nameless Knight.
Back to low tier colors. Blue white. 6/6. Knight of the Round Table. Good race. Enter. Remove target darkness resonator from the game. Your opponent pays 2 more to play activate abilities of resonators they control. Okay. Whenever a stranger enters the field under your control, you may pay white. If you do, put this card from your graveyard into your hand. I take it.
Yeah. One big thing is that if you energize this out against the Gwen combo, they just can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's an activate ability.
It's good. You definitely have to look at this card and say that it's good, because like Tsukiyomi Noble was playable as a 2-will 5/7 that said you can't play activate abilities. Make them pay 2 more for it is basically saying they can't activate it.
Yep, and then you stack on 2 other abilities. One that just removes a card from the game for no cost, as long as it's in a specific color. And then the other one just like, you just get this thing back when you play Strangers, which you already want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems like an obvious fit into a lot of decks. Especially like if you're playing those colors specifically, it's one of the best fits.
It's easily searchable with Knight of Iron Tables and the white colors, so
yep,
you're good there.
I really like this for what Faria was trying to do last set, but just could not accomplish.
Yeah.
Very specific. I wish that this didn't just say resonators, though, because if it could make God's Arts board expensive, that would go a long way to making that blue-white control thing work.
Yeah, but right now, looking at this as the way it is, I think it's trying to gear blue-white specifically to like that mid-range focus that I think is going to be trying too many things and not having one concise plan.
I see this as a control card, but sure.
Yeah, like mid-range, like this is like the control side of the mid-range. We're talking about like the mid. We're talking halfway points. Let's go.
Any thoughts, Scott?
Yeah, no, it's just a overall good card, searchable, Knight of Round Table, and a similar effect like Xiaojing was back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that too. That's a good comparison, actually.
And Xiaojing was 3-will, slightly better stats, but like overall.
And Xiaojing was for chance, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, one more for chance.
So it's a decent card. I think we can go to ratings. I'm gonna give this a 7.
Yeah, I decided to be a little more lenient with mine. I give it an 8. I think that the card standalone, like I'm factoring in how good it is on a standalone as well. And also factoring in one of the combos that I think is going to be really strong in the format, because I think this card does have
7.
a slight edge if you just energize it out in the face of a Guinevere. But depending on the situation, it has its niche situations.
I get what you're saying. It's blue-white needed a way to stop Guinevere combo, so that's good.
Yeah.
So
That helps.
if you're just
But
giving...
even-
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 as well.
Alright. Up next, we got a stranger.
Yay!
Royal
It's Freya.
Freya! Royal Palace
yeah.
Guardian Mage Freya. It's a green-blue 7/7 wizard quick cast. Enter, you may change all targets of target spell or ability that has one or more targets. Please note that has the same ruling as Magic Rebound, where all the targets have to be legal.
Yep. So this card seems good.
It's
Yeah.
I think it being a blue-green automatically just knocks it out of its own stranger deck. Because that is... Blue and green have the best strangers right now.
It's maybe a one of in the blue-green stranger deck, but it's hard to compete with some of the other things. There's a 6/6 that just cancels an automatic ability on summon.
Yep.
I don't think this card is anywhere near as close to the power level of that card.
There is a green stranger that is quick cast that is just cancel target chant. So
yep,
that's even better than this on most of the time. There's very few situations where changing the targets of spells make the card better.
Yep.
So
it's just you bundle it onto a slightly overcosted body, but it's still not a lot. It's not guaranteed to do anything, and I think that's the biggest problem since you can get it randomly.
Right.
So it compares poorly with Liz. It compares poorly with Blue Wizard. If you're trying to do blue-green control, I guess it goes in towards the end, but then you're competing with the 40/40 and stuff.
It also compares really poorly with the 7/7 quick cast that just gains defense and can give itself barrier for green.
That one's really good as well.
So, I really don't have much else to say about this thing other than what I've already said. I'm gonna give it a fat 6.
I said again how strangers work. I give this a 4. If it's getting outcompeted, it probably isn't a good card.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll split you right in the middle. 5.
Yep.
Sounds good.
At least we know where it is. Sniper bot.
Sniper robot. This card upsets me. Blue-green 6/6. Enter. You may rest X recovered machine resonators you control, where X is the total cost of target resonator. If you do, destroy it. Why? Why does the sniper robot only have one bullet?
And why does it need a bunch of machines to make one bullet?
Yeah. The sniper robot is very bad at its job. It can only kill 1 drops on its own.
Yep.
He needs a lot of help to kill anything bigger.
Yeah. And also the card's not really that good.
No.
One important thing to think about is that the fact that it's an enter is also really weird. If it was a repeatable effect, maybe it would see some play, but the fact that you have to...
It would be good as a repeatable effect.
Yeah, because you could bring it out
with all the tokens that machina can generate.
Tokens, bring this out with Machine Lab.
Tap the Machine Lab.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Imagine that repeatable, that'd be crazy, but this thing is just it does it once, and then it's just a 6/6 body as a machine. It's not worth it. It's really mediocre.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about it.
Yep.
I also like the flavor text saying, point at the target, aim, pull the trigger. Point at the target, aim, pull the trigger. It can only fire once, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What a fail. That's a hot 3 from me.
2.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
I do think it's usable.
It definitely is.
Just not very.
Yeah.
No.
This goes into that Voltron Machina deck that doesn't exist. Anyway, next up is what does that name say? Pricia's Yogg box, Yogg's puzzle box.
Of Yogg Saron.
4, which is 2 red, 2 green, chance sword art. Put a friendship counter on your J ruler. If this card was awakened, choose X times from the following. Otherwise, choose X times from the following at random, where X is the number of friendship counters on your J ruler. You can choose any option multiple times. Oh my god, what does this card do? This card deals 500 damage to your opponent, or put a 6/6 with Wind Beast Resonator token into the field. It gains swiftness until end of turn. Recover 2 magic stones you control, or choose a card from your stranger deck at random and put it into your hand. Awakening is 4.
Yep.
First of all, does this card even work?
Apparently so. They
uh,
printed it.
so CR problems. You have to choose X before options are chosen, but that's not how the CR words things. So your X would be 0. You would have to choose X before the friendship counter gets put on. What the heck? You could choose any option multiple times. Is in parentheses, so it's not actual text of the card. So it's not a rule. You can't choose multiple texts, multiple effects multiple times on normal cards. There's a lot of problems with this. What the heck?
Yeah, but if we look past those problems, factoring what the card does, all the options are pretty decent.
Yeah. Okay. So if the card works the way that it's intended to work, this card it basically just kills people on 4. That's all it does.
Yeah.
As long as you
Depending
don't
on your luck. Yeah.
As long as you don't roll 3 and 4 too often, which is the recover 2 magic stones and put a stranger in hand at random, you just kill people because the 6/6s are huge, and the 500 damage to face just helps you get there.
Yep, and you're going to have a lot of counters because you're playing some Persia. You have the Claw, you have all the resonators that do it.
Yeah, minimally you're playing it with already 3 friends on, so that goes to first. Your 6/6s are 10/10s with swiftness.
Yep, this is basically just a win condition.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
Even the recover 2 stones option isn't terrible because you just
It refunds you the cost of the card, and then you can use that coverage for Burning Rush.
Yeah,
it is terrible because you know it's not killing them, but that's beside the point.
Technically speaking, yeah.
You know how good the card would be if it didn't say recover 2 stones on it? Just saying.
It's true.
True.
Well, the only times I think that sentence will ever be said.
Anyway, I'm gonna give this a great rating of ?
If it works.
Yes.
If it works, I'll give it an 8.
It's an 8.
Yeah. But can we please get a CR update? What the heck is this card? Does it work?
Judge.
Oh boy. The determination of the machine lord. It's a sword art. Yay. It's blue-green. Yay. Quick cast. Choose one. Machine J resonators you control gain swiftness and +2/+2. Eat your heart out, March. Or return 2 target machines you control to their owner's hand. Or search your deck for 2 machines with total cost 1 or less. Put one into the field and the other into your grave. Shuffle your deck. Okay, that's a lot of good effects.
That's a whole lot of good effects.
I think you could have made those 3 effects 3 separate cards and they all would have been good.
Yep. But they're all bundled. How's it going?
Very, very nice.
Saves you on deck space.
This is the card we keep talking about where it's like you can just kind of bring out like the shields or the
Buster Rifle.
Yeah, Buster Rifles. But no, you're bringing out shield with this because like if they target down your Marybelle and they're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna kill your Marybelle with like Seal of Lyneth or what's the Regalia Break? Yeah, Regalia Break.
Yeah, Regalia Break.
Yeah, if they're targeting you down, you're just like, all right, cool, I'm going to tap Marybelle, play Determination, put a 1-drop into the grave, and then just toss a shield out. She has barrier now. Good job. You did it.
We went neutral.
Yep. We went neutral, and I still have my Regalia that's going to murder you.
Also, once you have shield up, your Regalia has barrier, and your J-Ruler has barrier. I don't know what you do from there. You're kind of in a bad spot.
You don't.
Yeah.
And then there's also the high roll potential of just like, I'm going to play a bunch of machines, turn them sideways, and sorry, man, the game only lasted 2 turns. I'm sorry you couldn't think about what the heck was going on.
Yep, sounds about right. Sup, Remote Control Beast.
Yep, thanks for reprinting that. Give a 10 for this card because machines getting swiftness at 2 will is not okay.
Yep.
No.
That's a pretty. Sorry, did you say 2-will? That's a 0-will card. This is sword art. 10.
It's true.
Yeah, that's
Card's
a 10
actually
out of
insane.
10.
Can't believe they printed it.
Oh, Mike, what if I'm in a situation where neither of these effects are good? Well, you can use it as defense to protect your machines from getting killed, so I don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
Jesus
Why
Christ.
was I saying that?
It's okay, you just kill them. Anyway,
That's true.
next up is the tune-up of Marybelle. It's blue-green, chance, sword art, quick cast. If you don't control Marybelle, choose one at random instead. What? Destroy target machine resonator you control and draw X cards, where X the total cost of the resonator destroyed this way, or put 6 +1/+1 counters on target machine you control, or put a token copy of target machine resonator you control into the field. So, if I read this card correctly, if you don't have Marybelle, you target something, and then you randomly choose either to destroy it, buff it, or copy it. Why?
I think maybe. I don't know, because it probably should have said target machine you control. No, not target machine. Target is not a verb; it's a noun. Yeah, I have no idea how to properly word this card. This card's a mess. It's also not really
target
good.
is a word.
It's
Target
actually,
is a verb.
It's not a verb in Force Will. It should never be a verb in Force Will.
Oh, they use it as a verb all the time.
Well, rippy.
It's effects.
All the effects seem mediocre at best.
So it's weird. It's like the first effect is really good on big things that you cheated in, like your remote control beast or remote control golem. I don't target golem with this.
Sure can.
No.
But like, draw 4. But the +6, the 6 +1/+1 counters is good on like tiny things. The copying something is good on a medium-sized thing, I guess. Well, the biggest thing you have. But like, if it's random, you just don't want to do it. Why?
Yeah. So one of the big things that I don't like about this card. So it wants you to control Marybelle to activate it properly.
Mhm.
However, it's a sword art, which means that you want to be playing it for free off of Marybelle. And if you have Marybelle in the field, you want it to be grabbed off of Marybelle going to the graveyard, removing itself. So there's some just weird anti-synergy that already is encompassing this card that I just don't like.
Yeah, generally you just don't want to have Marybelle on play. You're using it for other reasons.
Yeah, and I think just like this card doesn't fit what machines want to do. Like it's you can make a token copy of something, that's great, but why make a token copy when you just drew 3 remote control beasts and you played them all? Oops.
Correct.
So that's a 3 in my book. I don't
I
think the card's very good.
actually give this card a 1 just because the random effect makes it. You can't even play around it yourself if it's going off randomly.
Yep.
Right. I'll split the difference and go with the 2.
Yeah. I was lenient because it's a sword art in one of the best decks, but like
You don't play it.
Yeah.
Right.
Next up, Wanderer in the Nightmare Land. 3 black, blue, black. I don't know why they ordered it like that. 8/8 Wanderer. Enter, choose a number. Your opponent banishes a resonator with total cost equal to that number. If this card is awakened, your opponent banishes all resonators with total cost equal to the number instead, and you choose this card from your stranger deck at random and put it into your hand. The awakening is remove 3 resonators in your graveyard from the game. This card's really cool. I like the flavor.
Yeah, the flavor's really cool, really good on it. I think everything bundled together, this card would have been an insane card if it was printed, saying like Lapis Cluster or something.
Yeah.
But I think with the speed of the game right now, it's really, really tough to try and justify playing this card.
Yeah. It's non-targeting removal, which is really good, though.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it gets around a lot of stuff there.
Really good with dealing with tokens as well. If you just call 0, you can just mash out a bunch of tokens. But I think if you're paying 3 for a card that might clear some of the board with when the specific conditions are met and also will draw you a good card, it seems a little bit out of sorts, and I don't think it's gonna make an impact at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of my issues with the card. It's hard to evaluate 3 drops as being good unless they win the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
After rotation, I do want to think about this card because we'll have a lot less, well, not a lot less speed in the game, but we'll have a downturn in speed and a downturn in the potential stopgaps for cards like this.
I doubt
And
it, but sure.
I think 3-drops will just, in general, become more... I think they'll become more friendly to 3-drops in the future than it is right now, because I think 3-drops are just dead in the water unless they win the game on their own.
Doubt, unless we have a change in company again. No, I'm kidding.
Are you, though? No. But, yeah, for the way that the card is right now, I'm going to kind of split the difference on how good I think the card is as well as how relevant I think it'll be to the meta.
Okay, got my rating ready.
5.
A 6.
Hey!
I'm gonna go right in the middle there. 5, yeah.
Let's go in the middle.
5.5.
5.
5.
No 0.5 ratings, Scott.
Next up, we got reprints. We're into the void stuff.
Yep.
We got
Clockwork Soldiers.
yeah, a 1-drop 3/3 machine precision. This card gains +2 if you pay 1, and then at the next end of turn you banish it. Nice.
Yeah.
Clockwork Soldier's always been like that middle ground mediocre machine that you just kind of search off Machina back in the day because it was a cantrip.
Yep.
Not really much to say about the card. I think it's worse than every single other 1-drop machine we have available to us right now.
Yeah, unfortunately this isn't Mechanical Sprite, which was a decent machine.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna give us a 4. Not really much else to say about it.
This card is a 2 in my book. You're not playing it.
Yeah.
Thanks for reprinting it.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's a 1-drop machine is the only reason that I even consider anything above a 2.
Yeah, I'm going with the 2.
Okay. Well, onward.
Oh.
There you go.
Healing gimmick. A stranger. It's funny because it's a gimmick that heals you. Anyway, 0 cost, 2/6 machine. Banish this card. You gain 1,000 life. Draw a card. And then if you're Machina, you can pay blue-green and remove a machine in your grave from the game. Put this card from your grave into your hand. Nice.
10.
Nice.
I don't actually give this card a 10.
The only reason I give this card 10 is because I'm pretty sure this goes into every Stranger deck that's looking to add Strangers to hand.
Currently.
Yeah.
I give it an 8 because for now it is going in every single Stranger deck. Very specifically, it goes into the Machina one because you get that bonus effect, which is really, really good. It gives you a lot of sustain.
It's also just a 0-cost machine, which is insane for the Machina deck, but that's neither here nor there.
But as we get more Strangers, hopefully this card gets phased out. If this card somehow doesn't get phased out, that's kind of sad.
Yep.
For the mechanic as a whole. I don't think Strangers actually beat Divinity and Wanderer until they can phase out cards like this.
Yep.
Right.
I can agree with that.
So, it's a good card. Play it if you got it.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 10 as well.
Damn, Scott, you think this is the best card in the game?
No.
In my
Why
top
you give it a
5,
10?
in my
I mean,
book, this
just
is
like
number like if I had to rank my top 5, this is like number 6 in my book. That's why I give it the 10.
For from the set.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Next up.
Yeah.
We got. Should we just skip this one? We already talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Skip.
Oh, hang on. Whoops. There we go.
What you
8.
got?
There's my rating.
Yeah.
Why?
Is your rating just Y?
Yes.
Alright, cool. I can't believe this card was reprinted. I can't believe they would just overlook this completely.
So you ever heard of the Machine Lab combo?
If you haven't,
Look it up.
Try
look it up.
Try sacking Machine Lab to Gwyn while you have a Machine Lab engraved and targeting a Machine Lab engraved. Have fun.
And then Machine Lab comes into play, and then the Machine Lab gets sacked by Guinevere, and then the Machine Lab comes into play, and the Machine Lab gets sacked by Guinevere.
And remember,
And Machine
sacking
Lab-
gives her counters, which are stats, which is just as good as money, which is just as good as killing your opponent.
Yeah.
So
Just shove a Gwyn down to their throat.
Yeah.
That's all.
like
So and then if we just like think about this outside of Gwyn, like
Yeah.
once she rotates out, this card's still insane. And you just bring back a 2-drop machine, you just bring back a Marybelle, you search another machine, you search another lab, You just go off, and it
Or-
provides another count of your machines for Remote Control Beast and Marybelle's work and Remote Control Golem. Just, there's no reason this card should have been reprinted.
You can also target your Marybelle type 0 that you have in grave because your mythic trigger causes one to go into
Yikes.
grave.
Mm-hmm.
Get some free will off that. Net 0. This card's so stupidly good now.
Yep.
Like, the card was like not even playable back when it was. Well, I wouldn't say not playable, but it wasn't good. It was probably like, I don't know, maybe a 1 of if you played it.
Because machines back in those days wanted to get a bunch of big machines in hand, Judgment Machina, and cheat them into play.
March.
Now we just have, yep, and then March. Now we have March for 2, and then a bunch of other things that make more machines. So, oops, whatever.
Yeah,
They did it.
they did it. They done did it.
Next, they still have to try and make Legend as good.
Yep.
Well, here's more busted BFA cards that... I don't know, BFA was a weird set. But anyway, Marybelle's work 5. Quick
8.
cast.
Like, we know these cards are good. If
Pot
anybody,
of greed.
Sorry,
if anybody here has played Wanderer, you know that we're basically just getting the power level of Wanderer machines in New Frontiers context.
and this card helps with that. Thanks.
Card's insane.
Back in the day, machines weren't that good. Now
Now
they're
the
pretty
machines are
good.
good. You get good cards for them.
They're really good.
Anyway.
Yep.
Oh, hey, look, there it is.
I think we've mentioned this card more than every single other card on this entire list.
Just
Yeah.
saying,
Because of
the
everything.
last 3 cards, disgusting.
10. Remote Control Beast is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like, I couldn't include it on my top 5 of the set because it's a reprint, but
Yeah.
like, this is just the best card in the set.
Just saying, if you want to play Pritzy's Call to Action in your Machina deck, you can.
These are machine/beasts.
Why?
Because we need both of the best traits on one creature, and then make it
becomes
free.
0 cost. Yeah.
If you're playing Arthur, you get a inherent -1 because your ruler is a machine. That's good.
Right.
If you're not, just you have now token spamming machines, so this card's even better than it was.
It's
Yep.
super easy to put into play.
This card was one of the most insane cards in Wanderer. It'll continue to be that way. And now that we have a format that's slower, where machines can thrive, and a new spell that just gives them swiftness,
Oof.
I don't.
Questionable decisions, but onward. Well,
Golem.
everyone loves
Big-
this thing.
Everybody loves it. 6.
But Mike, the mana cost, that means it's 10. Oh.
Oh, I get. That's funny.
This card is actually like a lot better than when it was printed.
Yep.
Like there is a chance that this card is playable.
Yep. That's why I gave it the 6. It's got a lot of potential. I don't think it's really hard to try and justify the room for it in Machina decks or machine decks in general. The fact that you can just reveal this for the deal damage equal to the machine spell is kind of insane. Like 1 mana deal 2,000 is gross.
Yeah.
Good number.
It's a good number. In fact, the fact this thing can't be destroyed is completely irrelevant because every good effect in this game is just removed from the game or bounce.
True. Or
So-
remove it from game, or force banish. Whatever.
Right.
If for some reason your opponent lets you have like 9 machines on board, you can't just play 2 of these and then determination and then swing for game. Whatever. If you have 10 machines on board, you're 1 already. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite potential for this card is that the end of Alice Cluster originally had Volga. Just saying, we have Earther, we almost have this Volga combo.
They might print it again.
Oh god.
I'm
I'm so
ready.
happy. Oh, I'd be so
There's
happy
a
because you just played
stranger
Dark Alice into
does
that.
The same thing as
Yes.
Volga.
You have Dark Alice to load the grade with 2 cards.
It's so good. Well,
It's so good.
let's hope it happens. Until then, I'm giving this card like a 4. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, Batarax Memoria, great. It's 8.
Ooh.
If you're playing.
It's
Hang on.
in the set.
Hang on, let me give this thing. Here, I'll put a V for the Valhalla ruler ratings and an A for Alice ratings. There you go. 0 and 10.
Skip.
Yep.
Alright.
And we're gonna go to the best card in the set, Deepwood.
Hey.
Hey.
So, thank you for watching the video. Deepwood
Wait.
gets stoned.
I gotta give it a rating. I don't know how many zeros this was. This is probably like a trillion.
I haven't given like a number rating on the last like 10 cards, but whatever. Hey.
Hey, that's its rating. So, this was really long, but I hope you all enjoyed it.
Going through a full set takes a while. And also I don't know if we should do 3 people for future ones, but
No, probably not.
We figure that. Maybe not over Discord as well, because
well,
No,
that's your fault. But thank you for being here with us, Scott, since it's usually just Mike and I.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anytime.
And hopefully we get to doing more content. We do have stuff planned. Whether or not we get to it is a definite, so we will get to it, but the speed is questionable.
Yep.
We'll figure it out.
Unfortunately, we're busy boys.
Some more of us than others.
Unfortunately.
We're figuring it out, but at least we have a video for you. 2 videos since we had to split into 2.
2. Oh, hell yeah.
This is very long.
We're doing what we can here. Thanks for watching, and
we're back.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.